Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
SmackDown is in the book. Rampage is in the book. You know what that means. It's time for your Friday to get just a little bit more fabulous. Wrestling Insiders, Fabulous Fridays begins now. Wrestling fans, the winter heats up with the return of the Berzerker John Nord. The WWE legend will be back for Wrestling Insider tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings beginning Sunday, February the 20th. Check out Boston Wrestling's exclusive print that the Berzerker will sign for you live on air. Get ready for 3 big days of the Berzerker John Nord. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com for complete information. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans, VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for Boston Wrestling Sports Back to the 80s live wrestling event and Legends Fan Fest party Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. After successful cancer surgery, meet WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, plus 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions X and Smash Demolition, WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, the Wild Berzerker, and at least 3 more WWF icons. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session, a VIP exclusive Group 80s Legends photos, autographs, individual photos, all before the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow light up the ring like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Get your VIP packages and tickets now to secure the best seats in the house at bostonwrestling.com for a professional wrestling celebration decades in the making. We'll see you live April the 16th.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders, Fabulous Fridays. Dan Marotti here with John Cena Sr., your host with the most, Johnny. The countdown is on. We're just a little over 9 weeks away from the big one, baby. April 16th at Memorial Hall. As you've seen in the videos, we are loading up on the legends that are going to be there. The in-ring talent is going to blow you away. It's going to be a hot night in Melrose.
I can't wait. A lot of surprises, a lot of superstars. Going to be a lot of fun. And all I'm going to say to the fans out there is this: don't wait. Act now. Don't be disappointed.
The VIP packages are without a doubt the best value in professional wrestling. If you're going to, I hate to compare it, knock our friends at WWE, but compare it to the experience of the WrestleMania fan access when the fans go up to get an autograph and they're basically, all right, autograph, all right, autograph, all right, autograph, all right.
Push along.
It's like cattle. Here, when you come to a Boston wrestling event, we like to give you a little time with the superstars. Granted, we're not drawing the crowd that the WrestleMania fan access is, but I think as far as the experience goes, I think ours wins.
For the level that we're at,
yeah,
I would agree. I would agree.
Well, we agree on something for once. How rare.
Yep, I would agree. The value that you're going to get for the money you're going to pay, you can't get anywhere else. If you went to a Comic-Con and try to get the autographs we're going to have there that night, you'd spend 3 times what you're going to spend for that package. And to get the wrestling that you're going to get and the entertainment for the evening and that one picture with all those superstars, you can't buy it. You can't get it. So,
well, you can get it. You got to head over to bostonwrestling.com.
There you go.
Johnny, as we try and weed through what is the world of professional wrestling, as things are constantly changing, who knows what may or may not have happened since our last episode or since the time we taped this, but something that got the vice president of Boston Wrestling, MWF, a little on the aroused side. Oscar is very intrigued by the rumor mill of Lita having one more run in WWE. Your thoughts of that? Really? Are you more?
Why do I come here?
Are you looking at it more along the lines of Lita having one more run, or that Oscar was aroused?
We'll forget the last part, and we'll deal with the first part. I think Lita, Amy Dumas,
I believe, yes.
whatever you want to
Dumas,
say, Amy
Dumas.
Dumas, I think she's a very, very talented person. That thing with her and Edge was outstanding. When John was involved in it and they came to the house, the infamous slap that Vince said, worst thing I've ever seen. They've got more mileage out of that stupidity than anything else. I think
You got a pretty big payday for that.
Who did?
You.
You drinking the hot sauce or you drinking the soda? We'll talk about that another time. Anyway, I think she'd be great.
Really?
If she's still got it, I haven't seen her wrestle.
Yeah.
She hasn't been around. I haven't seen her work. But I tell you what, if she can bring back the Lita that we all know, with the ability that she had, I think it would be a good take for the WWE. I would look forward to that.
Do you think that exists at her age?
How old did you say she was?
I think she's older than me.
26.
7.
27.
No, I would say, Howard Miller may have to confirm this, but I believe she's in her early 40s, if nothing else.
You know, I'm going to say something that I say
Instead of one last run, it could be one last walk.
Yeah, but you know what? I say this to a lot of people.
All right, what do we got?
Age is just a number.
True.
Age is just a number. You know, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
People go, I can't believe what you did with Zagami in that ring.
All right. Yeah, you're in your...
I mean, how old are you?
You just hit the big 6-0 last June.
How old are you? And, you know, when you look at the woman that I'm dating, with the age difference there, people go, doesn't work, but it does.
You're a pimp.
But no.
That's what the Godfather
It's just-
said out in Vegas. You're a pimp.
He's a good guy. I like him too. I think Amy Dumas can bring a lot to the business. I think if she comes back in, there's a lot that she can teach the young women in the business. I say yes.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Well,
I say yes.
more outs. Our good friend, Lio Rush, out of AEW. He took to social media, I believe, on New Year's Eve and took Tony Khan and the AEW company to task after the former talent Big Swole claimed that there were maybe some race issues within the company, even though Tony Khan, I don't know if you'd consider someone of his descent a person of color exactly, but certainly not a white man, the Khan family. I don't know if Leo completely understood that, but I think the world of Leo, he wasn't released. His contract expires on Valentine's Day, and then he is free to go wherever he likes to go. I know I'd love to see him here in the MWF again as one of the elite talents in wrestling. I just think that where Leo has run into so many social media issues, he might be better to actually hire a business manager to handle these types of things for him, because he runs into walls now and then with the companies he's worked for, and he has too much talent to keep doing that. He's a young guy, he's got a family to take care of, and if WWE doesn't want him and AEW doesn't want him, I mean, at some point you're going to run out of options if you keep going nuts on Twitter.
You know what? There's an old saying. Before putting your mouth in motion, make sure your brain's in gear. And I think this is his problem. If there were a racist situation, I know Mark Henry very well. There would be definitely, he would not hold back. The other Afro-American black wrestlers at AEW would not hold back. I'll tell you what, if I heard there was a racist issue, I wouldn't hold back either, myself personally. So I think our friend, one, may need to grow up. Two, understand the business the way it really is. And three, if he's not happy, find something else to do. Because you know what? He's going to bounce around to the indies. He's going to try to get on this show and that show. And what's going to happen? He's going to end up right back where he started from. Nobody's going to touch him.
I hated the way his time in WWE ended. I worried. I was happy that AEW went with him. He still does have some events booked with New Japan. Hopefully that event can work out, or that endeavor, I should say, works out well for him, as I want to see him do good. Personally, I like him an awful lot. It's not like that piece of garbage that we originally met him with, the Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark.
Not a good thing.
No.
Not a good thing.
No. He never wanted to leave high school.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I think that he has a lot to offer. A lot to offer in this business. He certainly understands this business. He's a great performer. But you know what? You're right. Maybe he does need a business manager. Maybe he needs somebody to direct him so that he understands how this works. You know what? It's almost like Trump. If he'd have kept his mouth shut, he'd probably still be president of the United States.
Exactly, yeah. That's actually a pretty good analogy, as funny as it sounds.
No.
I give Tony Khan a lot of credit, unlike WWE during these difficult times, outside of a few disciplinary issues and those that couldn't get in and out of the country. You didn't see releases in AEW. He kept everybody on board, but now what you have seen and are going, like you've seen with Lio, and are going to see apparently coming up in the future, those with contracts coming due not being renewed, or maybe being used on a per event basis. And for a company, even though they have these 16 match internet shows, I mean, it still feels like they have too much talent under contract. Do you think that's a more respectable way to do it, or just let the contracts expire instead of releasing people that agreed to give X amount of time of their life to your company?
I think, you know what, business is business. I think that Khan has a different way of doing business than Vince McMahon. So I think at least Khan gains respect from the people he deals with. And if he's top heavy, then he's going to have to do what every other businessman does. Who do we need? Who do we don't need? Or maybe, just maybe, Impact becomes part of AEW and that talent just goes over to another phase. We'll see.
That would be interesting to see, maybe more cross-promotion between the two, but then at the same time, if you go that route, then you have Impact Wrestling wrestlers popping up on AEW TV, and you have even more wrestlers to filter in and out.
Well, I don't think you need that, because I'm sure once you buy the factory, you reduce the number of people needed to produce the product and still have that same profit margin. So I don't think if you buy the whole thing, well, Dan, it's been real, but, the fact is we just can't use you this time. See you later, bye. You're free to go. He hasn't restricted anybody. No 90-day contract, no 90-day compete. If you're gone, you're gone. Go out there and work.
Well, to be fair, I don't think we know the terms for the few very, 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 only less than a handful of people he has released. I don't think, they're not a publicly traded company, we don't know the complete details of what restrictions there may or may not have been, to be fair. But it appears on paper it is a much kinder and gentler place. And then from what I'm told by a lot of the guys that I know that work there, a much more fun, upbeat place to be than WWE. I don't want to name names, but I'm sure people can read through the lines. But with someone that recently was with us that signed there, I was talking to a friend that worked down in NXT and said, this is the last place on earth they should want to come. That's how bad it is right now as far as the atmosphere goes. There's never been more money, but it's just very unenjoyable. It's not why they wanted to get into the industry. The people that they bring in from the outside world, like they're trying to take these new athletes now, or they're trying to take college athletes that never, had nothing to do with pro wrestling, that played other sports, they'll know no difference. But as far as those that broke into the industry that have a passion, that are going to stick around longer, that want to be in it more, they've made it a very unenjoyable process, which I think is sad.
Well, when you start grabbing those people who did high school, college wrestling, and you bring them into our world, they can't last. They can't make it. They think it's all make-believe. It's a hard-ass business. They are true athletes. I put anybody up against a pro wrestler in that ring, they won't last. They can't do it. I feel bad, but I think a lot of people are willing to go to the NXT, go to the WWE for one reason. It's like Yellowstone. You wear the brand. Once you got that on your chest, Oh, Dan Morati's been on WWE. Cena's been down to NXT. Book him, book him, book him. So I think that's part of the reason. Everybody wants that shot. And if you notice, those people that have been released or have left have said, thank you for the opportunity.
Do you think it's a good idea that they've gone after so many athletes from outside of the wrestling ranks, where they have cut back on their search of independent wrestlers, so to speak, to look for big college football players, basketball players, female volleyball players, and so on and so forth? They signed a recruitment, I think probably around 20 or so men and women to join the Performance Center once their college athletic careers come to an end. Do you think that's a good way to maybe find new talent?
I said before, I'll say it again. A lot of these people think that it's a glory. It's a wondrous thing. You know, I'm going to be with NXT. I'm going to be with WWE. I'll be famous. You won't last. So out of 20, let's say 5 stay.
Maybe that's not a bad percentage.
You know, let's say that happens. Where will you go from there? If the writers can't write for the people that are there now, how the hell are they going to write for the people that are coming in? That's number one.
Well, they got to train them first to see if they can even handle it, to see if they have the makeup for the king of sports.
And the other thing is, I guess it's good because you're bringing a bunch of unknowns into the business. You know, I always say the best pots are made with the clay that's new because you mold them into what you want. So indies, whether it's in the indies, whether it's in the appraisal business, you know, I don't care what you do. If you bring somebody in, they always bring bad habits. And then you try to break those habits, and then you're the bad guy. So
that's one tough thing I think WWE faces, is that when guys are trained by these schools, by people that are not, have never been full-time pro wrestlers and are just teaching what they learned on independence to guys that develop the bad independent habits, there's a lot of retraining that needs to go on. We see it in what we do here in Boston Wrestling, where we work with a lot of people that were full-time professional wrestlers, not people that did it on independence on the weekends, but full, whether they were legends or whether they were opening match guys. At least they were full-time pros that were working 300 shots a year.
Yep.
When you're talking about guys that didn't work 300 shots in their careers, there's a lot of things they can't teach aspiring wrestlers at schools. As I've made the analogy before, that 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. They might be able to teach you a piece here, a piece there, but as far as putting together that whole jigsaw puzzle, they can't teach it because they never did it.
I agree. Agreed.
Agreed. All right. Well, one thing we agree upon, Johnny, is that all roads lead to Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts, Saturday night, April the 16th, Johnny. The creative juices are flowing. The superstars are calling. We're calling them. The hungry young athletes of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, they're calling. They want a spot on the big event. Not only is it back to the 80s, but we have kind of not recognizing the fact that it's also Soul Survivor 10, our marquee event. The event that Todd Hansen, Viking Raider Ivar, is 9-0 at. I certainly hope he's not going to be released and have a chance to go 10-0.
You know what? I got to say.
We won't go there.
We
won't go there.
No. But don't forget to put a female match on.
Well, that's up to you. But one thing, folks, that is up to you is to, on this brief timeout, head on over to BostonWrestling.com, get your VIP packages and tickets now.
Tickets are on sale now for Soul Survivor 10, Back to the 80s, our live event and fan fest, Saturday, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com now. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Denver Coliseum in Denver, Colorado, Sunday, February the 11th, 1990. In the opening contest, Black Bart beat Mark Young. Tugboat with the win over Iron Mike Sharp. Bad News Brown defeated Coco Beware. The Honky Tonk Man victorious over Bret Hitman Hart. The Rockers in Hercules beat the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji. Dusty Rhodes with the win over Macho King Randy Savage via countout. And in the main event, Roddy Piper defeated Ravishing Rick Rude in a steel cage match. If you were in Denver live, share your memories in the comment section below. Keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Wrestling fans, the winter winter heats up with the return of the Berzerker John Nord. The WWE legend will be back for Wrestling Insider tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings beginning Sunday, February the 20th. Check out Boston Wrestling's exclusive print that the Berzerker will sign for you live on air. Get ready for 3 big days of the Berzerker John Nord. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com for complete information. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause. Now, let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans, VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for Boston Wrestling Sports Back to the 80s live wrestling event and Legends Fan Fest party Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. After successful cancer surgery, meet WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, plus 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions X and Smash Demolition, WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, the Wild Berzerker, and at least 3 more WWF icons. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session, a VIP exclusive Group 80s Legends photos, autographs, individual photos, all before the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow light up the ring like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Get your VIP packages and tickets now to secure the best seats in the house at bostonwrestling.com for a professional wrestling celebration decades in the making. We'll see you live April the 16th.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
At WrestleMania 37, she proved she is the EST, defeating Sasha Banks to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Here's your chance to own this limited edition collector's autograph print, personally signed by Bianca Belair, one of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Bianca Belair collectible for your wrestling collection now.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders. John Cena Sr., Dan Marotti here. We hope your Friday is fabulous. We hope your life is fabulous. How about that?
I love
We'll
it.
go big time, baby.
Oh, all the way.
Just like things are going to be big time on Saturday night, April the 16th. I know we're getting requests, a lot of movers and shakers that just want to be there live and attend and watch. Who knows what news station might want to show up this time to talk to you? Maybe Fox News. I don't know how well that would go over here in Boston, but what do you think?
Peace on, Peacemaker.
Shepard Smith
Love the series. Stay
and John
with it.
Cena Sr.
It's a great show. What? Robert Patrick. Glad to see him back with John. He's the one that started with John when they did the Marine.
That's right, yeah, the heel from Terminator 2.
I love the series. You got to see it. Peacemaker's awesome.
And that is on HBO?
Peace on. HBO Max. Peace on. It's great. Yep.
Well, all right, Johnny. Did you see the article? I believe it's the Toronto Star newspaper, which would be their version of the Boston Globe, about the what they considered a battle between AEW and WWE. WWE it reminded me of the Monday Night Wars a little bit. WWE went the route of calling AEW gory mutilation with the blood that they've had. And it reminded me going back to the mid-90s when Ted Turner and WCW started to sign away Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. And Vince wrote an open letter to Ted Turner and Turner stockholders saying basically the same thing, that it was, dangerous. It could be a health hazard to many of the talents that are bleeding. What do you think of that, Johnny? Kind of interesting, interesting to look at how different yet similar things are almost 30 years after the fact.
You know, there's a call for blood, not a call for blood. Somebody sent me a picture the other day of my son where he had both belts on his shoulders covered in blood. Doesn't make any sense.
Why didn't it make any sense? If it was a boxing match, if it was a UFC, he could very likely look like that.
You know what?
Did you not like it when John had the blade?
When he, I didn't know he was going to bleed. So
All right.
my whole thing is this. I'm a true believer that when necessary, use it. Don't overuse it. And don't use it to the excess. I mean, when I looked at this picture from head all the way down, it's just total blood. I think AEW has a tendency to use that card quite a bit. I think that less is more. I think that's a smart thing to do. I don't know if they're really getting the draw from that or people get a high from that, whatever it is. But if you want to see blood and gore, that's the place to see it. They certainly don't hesitate to do it. I think you could do a little less and still achieve the same end.
Do you think the art of the blade is wiser than to try and do it the WWE way nowadays of doing it the hard way? If you go back to, I believe, SummerSlam 2016, Brock Lesnar almost, I don't want to say killed Randy Orton, but gave him a concussion of epic proportions and busted him open like a piece of fruit. I can't remember the amount of times I've seen that much blood come out of someone's head when Lesnar was shooting on his skull, and it led to a lot of bad blood. I know Jericho went after Lesnar, not knowing that it was kind of the thought process they were going with, when very simply, instead of having Brock Lesnar bash Randy Orton's skull in, he could have taken a little blade and, done the job himself. I think that would have been a lot safer for Randy Orton or whoever the performer may have been. I don't think hard way is a good way.
I know about that.
That's dangerous.
I know about the hard way.
Well, you
I got busted
you
open.
probably weren't crying then about the Lesnar night.
I didn't even remember it. But anyway, my whole thing is this. You know, the blade, the old blade thing where you got it between the fingers, it's in the tights, whatever. That's still a dangerous thing because once you do the gig, now you got to get rid of the blade. So the referee is usually the one you pass off to, and it goes from there. Getting busted open the hard way makes absolutely no sense.
Too dangerous.
He would have been better off to use brass knuckles and bust him open right away, because the pounding that Orton took in his head not only resulted in a concussion, but as I said when I saw it, it could have resulted in a brain hemorrhage and killed him.
Yeah.
Killed him. So if you're that stupid to allow that to happen, and I don't think Randy is that stupid, I just think Lesnar went overboard. It should never have happened.
I just think any time in this
You're going to gig with a blade.
I agree with you 110%. It's so much safer than to risk. I mean, the brain is something I don't think we'll ever fully understand the scope of as far as how it works, how it reacts, and so on and so forth. Randy Orton could have got post-concussion syndrome, which is a very serious thing.
Or blood clot and die.
Yeah.
The brain. You know, you just don't do that stuff.
I mean, if you go back and watch that match on WWE Network, and this is by someone that enjoys blood in professional wrestling, it was brutal.
Oh, that was horrible.
And I applaud the fact that Jericho tried to stand up for one of his brothers so much by going after Lesnar when he didn't realize that it was what the two of them
had decided.
Mapped out. It was not how they should have mapped it out.
No.
It was vicious.
Well, Orton, I don't think knew what he was in for. I really don't. Because he figured he has some soft tissue. You know, a lot of the guys do when they gig, they build that soft tissue. So when you hit that, it doesn't take much to open him back up. But I don't think he realized what he was really headed for, especially with a man like Brock Lesnar. And I'm going to tell you, when that man hits, you know you've been hit. And I just think that was a very stupid thing. Sometimes the blade works, sometimes it doesn't. I still remember Vince McMahon gigging, and he went too deep, and it was like a fountain. And you know what? Tells you what kind of trooper he is. He finished the match.
He did. Now, did you have a chance to read the article
On
in the Toronto Star about the
No,
two companies?
I have
Very
not.
interesting. I'll see if I can remember to send you the link. I think you'd enjoy it. But you know, I know, like I said, they called WCW guttural and unethical when they allowed bleeding to take place during the Monday Night Wars. Do you think that's the route WWE should be going down right now, as far as media outlets going to them, as far as AEW being competition, where the best they can come up with is that, you know, it's self-mutilation?
I think what WWE needs to do is pay attention to their own product.
I was just going to say that.
And I think what WWE needs to do is say, blood is blood. Where do we need it? Where don't we need it? And I'm with you. If you're in that cage match and you get your head bashed into that razor sharp fence, you know what? There's got to be blood. Otherwise, what you've really proved
Is that it's a work.
it's fake. It's over. It's over. You can't do that many times to the human being and rub their face in razor sharp steel and not have blood. So you know what? Pay attention in your own backyard. Forget about what's going on. You know what it's a sign to me? What are you scared of, buddy?
And look at what they were afraid of happening in 1995 when the Monday Night Wars began. Soon after they made that comment, right after Hogan and Macho left, he had Nash and Hall leave and a whole plethora of stars leave. But in the end, it worked out well for WWE. It forced them to become creative and create new stars. And we had a great few years for the history of the industry.
That's what I'd be doing. Instead of writing these foolish letters.
And you want to know something? If I'm either wrestling company, I wouldn't be talking about how it's done or why it's done. But that's just me. That's just me. That's a topic I would avoid.
How you bleed and when you do it?
Yes, I would avoid that topic in any media interview. But that's just my
I would
opinion.
agree with that also. I would agree with that
Just
also.
stay away from that one. Because you know, I'll tell you this, when television contracts come due, if AEW continues to climb the ranks of popularity,
And they will.
and there are weeks now where they're beating WWE in certain demographics. WWE, when they get desperate, we saw what happened with the Attitude Era. I could easily see that coming back into not a regular thing, but something that we see more of than we do now. That's just, I would consider that topic taboo. One man's opinion.
Wait and see what happens. I know that when somebody else was involved backstage, they were just marginally getting into bits of that Attitude Era, and then that person got sick and it stopped. So let's see what happens. They've got to save themselves. And instead of, blowing at everybody else, like I always say to people, look in the mirror, and when you can see you're perfect, then go out and take on Murati or Cena. Until that day, so that's what they need to do. Forget about everybody else. You know what? And again, I'll go right back. What are you afraid of?
All right, well, Johnny, another interesting topic. We mentioned a recent episode about the decline in quality of WWE NXT. I think it's safe to say, as recently as 2 or so years ago, I would have considered that the most interesting TV show on wrestling, as far as the weekly brands go, as far as, was that the second one, Howard? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We love to include you in the show when we can. As far as all the weekly wrestling shows, that was my favorite one to watch. Now it is barely watchable. Scott Garland, former Scotty to Hotty, the coach in NXT, said that Triple H said if they could bottle it, they'd be like bottling millions of dollars for the future. And now it's just, he said, there's been such a culture change since Triple H had his heart episode that he was another that asked for his release. He didn't want to be there anymore because he lost the passion for, not for the business, but for NXT.
It's fizzled out. It's fizzled out.
It's really dying.
Yeah, I think that, it's pretty evident. I don't know under what circumstances Triple H will be back. Please God, he's healthy and strong. He's a wonderful person, great human being. But you don't want to, that's tragedy when it comes to the heart. So let's hope he's going to come out of it okay. I'm sure he will. But you can always see when somebody else takes over that project, like ECW went right to hell. And you can see that NXT is slowly reaching the point of
Slowly?
Well, I like to say slowly because it's a slow death, and they're just edging. Gargano left, smart move. Ciampa's still there. I think he's going to hang on till the end if they don't let him go. All these people that were favored seem to be told to get your ass out. So we'll see what's going to happen. NXT, I think, is on borrowed time.
I just think it's amazing that where, again, you had the head-to-head competition between AEW and NXT. Once you separated them, AEW's numbers went up, and even though they were unopposed, NXT's has gone down. I mean, what does that say about the brand overall if it's going down without head-to-head competition?
There you go.
Never mind with it.
No.
And then again, before we go, Johnny, a few topics we're going to have to skip over until next time, but another woman that had her eye on you, Sunny, arrested yet again for trying to stab someone with a pair of scissors after she was released from jail not too long ago. A very sad story as I laugh at it. She's had some tough happenings. Her longtime partner, Chris Candido, passed away because he flew home too soon after, I believe, a surgery. And TNA was so kind at that point and so concerned about her that they sent her a ham. She's been through WWE's rehab program about as often as some go through the McDonald's drive-thru. It's been a tough call for
Why do I do this?
It's been a tough call for Sonny.
I don't think it's funny. I think that this woman has a very serious problem.
Yes.
I did 2 shows, and she was on. She was involved with one of the boys in the business, in the indie circuit. She had quit all drinking. She was a whole different person. And the next thing you know, it's a reoccurrence. Unfortunately, with this woman, she's proving that rehab is not happening. She's proving that she has a physical mental problem that needs to be addressed. I pray for her every day because what's going to happen is once this time they lock her up, she's not coming out.
Potential for 7 to 11 years.
Yeah, she's not going to come out. And I think with her track record, she's proven unstable. She's
dangerous.
Yes. And I think this time, the next person that hears this case, she's gone.
Well, I know I laughed at it. Wrestling people and wrestling scenarios, we're a different breed for those at home that may come across this and say, how can he be laughing at these situations? But I'll say this, in her defense, when she is with it, she is one of the smartest, forget about the gender, but one of the smartest around. When she gets this business.
I would love to have her here.
And if she could get to the point where she could stay clean and sober and away from the things that make her attack
demons.
people or drink and drive or whatever the problems she's faced may be, I mean, she could add and offer so many great things to the industry.
I'd love to have her. I'd love to have
I'd
her
love to have her here, yeah.
She's just a great person, and even just to sit down and like you do, instead of Berzerker, you have, there's a lot behind her. There's a lot she can tell, a lot of knowledge. Unfortunately, she's destroyed herself and literally destroyed her career because not many people want to go near that type of person because of the stigma.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I don't know what you would think, and I don't know what David Reese, I think David Reese may be more sympathetic than any of us considering his profession, outside of wrestling. But I would have zero, even with her track record, zero problem having her here in the studio. Who knows how it could wind up? There's potential with anybody for it to go wrong, as we've seen in the past with a couple of individuals. Most of the folks we have in here have been great. But as far as a WWE or an AEW, would you want to risk bringing that into your company again?
You can't
I don't
do
think
that.
so.
You
no.
can't do it. That's why
And
nobody's
that's not being mean. That's just being realistic.
Well, nobody's going to touch her. See, I think before all this shit started piling up, she had a chance. Now she's just destroyed everything, and now she'll be gone. She'll be locked up for a while.
Well, potentially 7 to 11. Do you think she gets anywhere near that in this day and age?
I would say she's going to get at least the 7. At least the 7.
And maybe I don't know enough about it, but again, where I've got to know David Reese so well, instead of sending her to jail over and over again, why haven't they, I don't want to say lock her up in an asylum or something like that, but obviously there's something mentally going on there that needs to be addressed. People are so quick to throw these people behind bars and treat them all the same when, there may be issues that can be treated with mental health help, so to speak.
I don't disagree with that. But I think what you need to do is eliminate the problem and get that person off the street. Then
I agree. I'm not saying, I'm not taking away from that.
Then you bring a guy like David Reese in who works with this individual, and so you have a 7-year sentence, but now he works with her for 2 years and said, guess what? She's ready. Okay, let's give you probation. And if you screw up this time, you're not in for 7, you're in for 12. End of story. End of story.
I think that's fair.
I think that's the way it's got to go down. I really do.
Well, it's unfortunate. Again, she's someone that I think could add a lot to the industry. Well,
it didn't help because she got out of the wrestling business, went in the porn business. She started doing indies again. Then she went crazy, and it's kind of like, hold on. The demons are demons. And if you go through rehab to get those demons eliminated, you realize, an alcoholic realizes they're an alcoholic and a drug addict when you look in the mirror and say, I got issues. I'm an alcoholic. That's when you go get help. Otherwise, the big problem is there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. Well, wait a minute. As soon as you take one drink or take that one, you're in trouble. No. And so what happens is she goes to the rehab, and it's just like a little kid. He can't have candy. Why? Because if you give him one, he's going to eat the whole bag. So it's like, okay, she goes to the indies, she does a show, comes back to, let's say we had a party here after the show. Look, hey, what's one drink going to do? Half a drink going to do. I can't do it. Maybe the willpower of that individual is so low that all it takes is one sip, one smell, and you're right back where you started from. That's why I say, people might hate what I'm going to say, but put her away. Give her the sentence. Hook her up with David Reese. Let's get her in shape. Let's eliminate the problem she has. Because rehab works for some people. Marty Jannetty was perfect when he said, rehab don't work. He might be right. So now it's a mental issue you have to attack. There's something that's triggering that something to escape reality and turn violent.
And there has been violence. It's not just, drinking and driving is very dangerous. Look at what happened to me. That's a different story for a different time.
Right.
But just, now scissors and, like she was sitting on Anderson over in Europe, not a good thing.
No.
And I don't think it's going to end well. But unfortunately, folks, this program has to end. Running out of time. Howard Miller is furious in the back again. We implore you to visit us on Patreon this weekend, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. For the streaming time of your life, you get early ad-free, full-screen access to all of our weeknight shoot interviews, the archives with over 300 episodes, the studio shoot interview DVD library seen by millions online, and millions more on The Howard Stern Show thanks to Shiki Baby, Patreon exclusives, inside scoops, and more at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. And then I believe 9 weeks from tomorrow night, Johnny, 9 weeks from tomorrow night, we're heating up Pigottville, baby. Boston Wrestling MWF brings to you Soul Survivor 10, Back to the 80s, VIP Q&A session, an 80s Legends group photo, autographs, pose photos, then the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow light up the squared circle like he used to light up Linda Dano and Elizabeth Hubbard. Get your VIP packages and tickets now at bostonwrestling.com. Save some money over what the price will be the week of the event and at the door. For JC, I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, you and yours, be healthy, be well. Good night from Boston.
Hi, this is Phil DeCesare. Thank you for enjoying tonight's Wrestling Insiders. Get early full-screen ad-free access to all our Weeknight Wrestling Insider episodes while helping keep wrestling legends working by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You can directly help us bring you more great historical wrestling content 7 days a week to enjoy for years to come.